everyone, it's Jocelyn. So right now I'm going to just jump into my opinion and sort of a review of She's Gotta Have It Season 2, which is on Netflix. While I drink my Buzzball margarita. It's basically a Buzzball. I will link it down below if you don't know what it is. This is the tequila one, and I just put it in my Magic Bullet and with some ice from my freezer, and here we are. So Season 2. Well, first let me recap Season 1, what I thought. I was waiting so long for Season 2 to come out. It just seemed like it really was like kind of a drag on, in the sense of when it came out, I was like, okay, I had watched the Spike Lee movie, the original, and so I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to the season. It was worth the wait. I loved it. I myself, being very fluid and polyamorous, I really appreciated it, and I thought it was just like the perfect setting for what's going on now in the world, especially like if you look at places that have a lot of history. I mean, everywhere has history, but somewhere such as New York, there is such a deep culture and like root there for so many minorities that it just made sense. You know, they were really up with the times, and it was just, I felt like I had lived through some of the same things. I myself, being an artist, I also appreciated so many of the various forms. Season 1 was superb, if I may say so myself. The wait for Season 2 was a little off-putting. I will have to say, waiting that long for a series, and I really feel like it has a lot to do with just the artistry and trying to perfect it, not necessarily like laziness or that they just weren't sure. But, you know, I'm not behind the scenes, I don't know. When I heard Season 2 was coming out May 24th, I was like, oh my gosh. So I had been counting down about a week. And I will say it was a little dry to me. I don't know if because I was expecting her to not evolve and still have the same issues, her being Nola, the same issues with the people that she had previously been talking to. I don't want to give out too much information for people who haven't seen the first season or the second, but I'm assuming you wouldn't be on this if you hadn't watched. So I'll just go ahead and say it. I just felt like Mars, Jamie, and Greer were kind of like put to the back burner. Like, they made their appearances, but the stories that they had after Nola really weren't expanded upon. So it's like, I'm assuming a Season 3 would be coming. Not really sure. Like I said, as far as the movie, I feel like it expanded a little bit beyond the movie, so maybe that's it. Of course, you know, DeWanda Wise, excellent as always. She's so beautiful, and she just makes it look effortless, you know, to be up there doing what she's doing. However, sorry if I'm looking down. I'm thinking while I'm talking and, you know, trying to really give insight. It's my first review, so bear with me. The paintings, the art, all beautiful. The extra people that were put in there, Adu, I think that was his name. Great. I loved his sculpting work. I loved that Papo, now Divine, had a fresh start. I was waiting on that. Very talented artist. He was just he just needed a better direction. I did not know. And see, this is one thing that they kind of snuck in there too. The time that they spent away from Netflix as far as like coming out with the new season is how long he was apparently in jail. So that was interesting as well to kind of hear, because I thought maybe he was in there for like 6 months. I didn't know exactly, you know, how long he would have been in there. So that was interesting. They didn't really expand on his daughter too much, even though they brought her up. Nola and Opal fell out. I really didn't see them lasting as long as they did. Just because of the simple fact that Nola had never been monogamous. And aside from the movie fact, you know, this is not about me comparing the movie to the series. I'm just saying as far as the series goes, I didn't know what direction they were going to put it in, honestly. So I'm just watching as someone who hadn't seen the movie, the original Spike Lee movie. I think that in season 3, it would be nice to kind of just expand a little bit more on other characters. I know this is about Nola, but there's so many people in there that it's just like a question mark. And I don't know if that's just to keep it to where they can keep having seasons and expanding because people want to know this or they want to know that about this character or why this happened. But it's worth it. But at the same time, I must say, I'm not sure that I feel like another season is really going to do much. You know, I don't have many friends who watched the show, but it's not like I was hearing rants and raves about it either. So I don't know if that's one thing, if that has anything to do with maybe why the output was slow for the second season. But overall, it was great. The last episode, if you're watching this, I'm assuming you've seen the last episode. I don't mean to give any spoilers for anyone who hasn't. So click off now, right now. Finish it, Pinto, if you have not seen the last episode. The last episode to me, long time coming. You know, Nola's been a talented artist through season 1, through season 2. She had her, you know, her bouts and her triumphs and her, she had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things that happened, and she had to really find herself again. And I feel like she was really kind of recreated into who she was initially portrayed to be in the first few episodes before we got more into her love life. Which technically, when you get into someone's love life, who are they really to you before you know exactly what they're doing? But the art show was great. It was really great to me. I loved the pieces. I saw a lot of original pieces from season 1. I loved the Puerto Rico trip. The Puerto Rico trip meant a lot to me. It just further symbolized how close in roots minorities are. Even though everyone wants to categorize themselves as, oh, I'm this. Oh, don't mistake me for that. Oh, no. Or this hatred towards someone who might be a little bit darker. Like, it just symbolized so many shades of brown. It was just beautiful. And when I say brown, I'm not talking about, you know, just people other than you know, black people. I just mean brown as in color. It was so lovely, and to actually be in places that had so much historic value, and you know, they actually said a little bit of real history in that episode, which I'll have to go back and reference, so excuse me. In the episode, you know, when they were talking, when the guy that was friends with Mars said that they won't teach you that history. And that meant something to me as well, because, you know, here in America, for African Americans, if you will, it is, our history is very blurred. That's the best word I can use right now. And this whole feeling that I feel like a lot of us have, even if it's subconscious, but it's just within our race, that, or our ethnicity, that we are built basically upon slavery, and from there, that's how we became what we are now. Now, don't get me wrong. If we had all stayed in Africa or other parts of the world that we inhabited before slavery existed, who knows what would be at this point. And that's a whole nother history lesson. I'm not going to dive into that. I don't want to argue with anyone. I have my own opinions. I probably am into a lot different history than some of you, and that's okay. But look up the Olmecs, okay? Research Olmecs. Dr. Ben, who, rest in peace, talked a lot about it, ancient Egyptian history, and he just dives in, and he's not the only one. You can find this Olmecs. You can find that in so many places. You don't have to just listen to the source that I listen to, but look it up. Back to the topic. The fact that their history is hidden as well as ours, that really correlated with me as far as just what I know, and you know, the things that I've learned over the past few years. The ending with her painting, where she was, you know, basically painted in, it was her body, nude, painted like in the American flag, and the long braids that she wore throughout the season, the braids she wore throughout the season was basically tied up as like a noose. And I understand some people's perspective as far as it's insulting. What are you really trying to say? Like, are you trying to say that we're killing ourselves? Are you saying America's killing us? You know, I've seen so many different opinions on it. And a lot of the people, even in the show, felt it was distasteful. When she had the private viewing of it for the first time, most of the faces that came out were like, really? You know, some of the men kind of had a smirk, and I think it was just because, you know, she was nude. What I got from it was, I mean, a two-part meaning. That America for Black women, and I will say, you know, Black people in general, but for Black women, a lot of us are killing ourselves emotionally, physically, you know, chasing after things that are no good for our health, whether it's men. It just symbolizes us as a race about what's been going on. And a lot of people try to make it seem as if this whole idea of racial injustice and injustice from the police, police brutality is something new. What's changed is the fact that we have social media where anyone can record at any time. You take out your little phone and you can record anything. The fact is that we all see it plain as day. It's not just in a newspaper anymore. It's not just a he said, she said. And I personally didn't find anything wrong with the painting. But that's my interpretation. So, you know, and this is me coming at you I haven't, you know, looked and seen, oh, well, what did she mean by the painting, as if they, you know, had explained. I don't know if they did. And I will, you know, come back and follow up. But my thing is that as an artist, I respect a person's perspective and their right to vocalize it through their art, whether it steps on toes or not. If that's what you want to put out to the world, that's your right. You don't deserve to be silenced. No one has the right to silence you through your art. But anyways, that was just, you know, something I wanted to get off my chest because I've been looking forward to the season for a long time. As I said, a little bit disappointed. It wasn't as funny. It wasn't as vibrant as the first season. So that kind of leads me to believe that they might be done. If they do have a third season, I think it would be a stretch. But I would love to see more, as long as they expand on other people. I know that the show is about Noah Darling, but there just needs to be something else to focus on, just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there just needs to be somebody else that they expand on beyond her. She didn't even do as much of her, you know, the talks where she sits on her bed, or she's, you know, doing her art as she did in the first season. And it's based on a movie. So sometimes, you know, you get 1 or 2 good seasons out of a movie, and that's enough. Nothing wrong with that. Anyways, I'm Jocelyn. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I'd love to do more reviews. Let me know what you want me to review. Like I said, this is my first one, so if I jumped around a little bit or was a little jittery, I apologize. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just gonna put this up and see what happens. If I get any feedback, I'd love it. By the way, I'm in my closet, so pardon me for the lighting, but I have a few people sleeping. My cats are sleeping too, and my fiance, and I just wanted to kind of be in my own zone. And the closet was perfect. Drink my margarita. So I hope everyone has pleasant days after you watch this. I hope that you can give me your opinion too. You know, if you disagree, say something. Comment, please. If you agree, let me know as well. But I am out of here. Thank you for watching. Bye, loves.